And that's why we are struggling, because we have a presentation that you've given us that I wish you go through this, but now Can you go through this, please, the document you've given?
Yes, we are going to go.
No, let's go through
Chairman.
this. Let's go through this.
Chairman, what you are avoiding to say is this type of his own presentation, or you are presenting on behalf of one Alice Wahome at the Cabinet Secretary for Lands?
Chair, if I may make this clarification, I came in just ahead of my time because I'm believed, and I had wanted to follow my comments as the chair of KNR to this presentation which we are going to make. Now, this presentation which we are going to make in PowerPoint are specific interventions for the private sector to play. But because I needed just to come ahead, I wanted to make this out of comment remarks as a follow-up of this presentation.
That's fine. But for one problem,
Yes.
so what you you could easily get us into trouble here,
Yes.
because what you've done,
Yes.
we are conducting public hearings on the Affordable Housing Bill of 2023.
Yes.
So any submission that you should make should reference this bill.
Yes.
Now, you are referencing another document called the Affordable Housing Bill of 2023, which is different from what we have, and which has been done by one Alice Wahome, at least per the document that you've given me, and the same here. Is it the same for other members? So that would be in total breach of House procedures, because you are purporting to make a contribution for a bill that is not before Parliament. This bill is not before Parliament. The bill that is before Parliament is a Affordable Housing Bill of 2023. You could still achieve what you want to achieve, but please reference this bill and not this bill.
Agreed.
Especially because it is titled.
Agreed.
Would have accepted your document had it said. Let me spare my comments. So let's just go to the matrix. Let's just go to the matrix and tell us.
Chair, without
hold on, CP. Let's go to the matrix and say this is what I am proposing and is amending section this of the bill. And it's okay if you cannot remember the bill, but give us your submission as per the document that you've given us, not this bill which we do not have before the 13th Parliament.
Okay. Chair, before allow me, still being the House of Record, and already a document is before us, which is signed off by one Alice Wahome, Cabinet Secretary for Lands, Public Works, Housing and Urban Development. And as far as my memory is concerned, the current CS under this ministry goes by the name Alice Wahome. It is very critical at this stage and time to know that we having another reintroduction of additional content from the same parent ministry, which did submit to Parliament a proposal for a bill, and Parliament has adopted a bill of 2023, won by Leader of Majority Kimani Ichung'wah. It awakens some instincts that is anything happening around, that we are being subjected to, because what is happening here, what is CS doing in this particular conversation?
So honourable members, because please switch off your mic. Let me get. We do not have the Cabinet Secretary with us here, so we have no submissions from the Cabinet Secretary. And remember, we invited the ministry on Wednesday, so the ministry will have a chance to present their views. They are very important stakeholders here, so there is nothing wrong that stops them from giving their views as the State Department or as a ministry. However, you introduce yourself as the chairman of RIET's organization and give us your submission. So please let us go through your submission. So even if it was a Cabinet Secretary who brought this document herself, we will still have made the same decision, because the document is entitled Affordable Housing Bill of 2023, which is different from what is before Parliament. So the document that is in discussion before Parliament is the Affordable Bill of 2023 as tabled and as it went through first reading before we went recess, and sponsored by the leader of the majority party, the Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah. Okay? Please proceed. Okay, proceed. All right.
You allow us to take off this one from our desk?
Yes, please expunge the document before us. It is not properly in the House, so we will discuss the submissions by rates. That is what we have, and we have the bill that went through first reading.
But then, Chair, you will believe with me, and then we need to be careful on this content. Maybe ministry, of course.
Yeah. I remember, stop reading.
It could be a selfish already.
Now, stop reading too much. There is nothing that stops the Cabinet Secretary from making recommendations for amendments. In fact, we are going to listen to the Cabinet Secretary on Wednesday. It's just that now, because she's not the one with us here, then we should not admit a document that is signed off by the Cabinet Secretary when the person presenting is not the Cabinet Secretary.
Rates is a private entity.
Chair, can you please move forward? Please take us through let's put that matter to rest. You introduce yourself as rates. Take us through the contribution as per the document that you've tabled, that you've received. And honorable members, expunge the other document. Proceed. That's fine. Proceed. Introduce yourself again.
Yes, thank you very much, Chair. Again, to introduce myself to the honorable members of the House, my name is Willie Njoroge, the Chief Executive of the Kenya Association of Stockbrokers and Investment Banks. Chair, as I had said earlier, as we introduced ourselves, we have come together as 6 organizations, primarily to save the time of this committee, so that instead of having many different groups come separately, we put all our thoughts together. We also appreciate the wisdom of the Chair when he asked us to stay behind as the other people were presenting, because indeed there's very many things that we shall not repeat that they already said. Allow me at this point to say, Chair, that on behalf of the entire team, the 6 institutions that Chairman Tom introduced, we are very grateful for the opportunity that you have given us, and you always do give us an opportunity, and we don't take it for granted. Now, the document that our Chair had presented, we do take your advice, Chair, that it has not been introduced perhaps in the proper manner, but what we shall do as we submit our proposed amendments in terms of chapter and clause, chapter and verse, we shall incorporate that with our names as we're the ones who are proposing. And bear with us, Chairman. So I will take you very quickly through the presentation. So our format and style of presenting is a bit different, Chair. We don't want to have too many people talk in the interest of time, as our previous speakers, and allow me to proceed. So our introduction, which I would want to skip, is I have mentioned or we have described the different institutions that are here before you, honorable members. We have the Kenya National Rate, and our chairman, Tom, is here. We have the Nairobi Securities Exchange, that used to be called the Nairobi Stock Exchange. They're here. We have the Kenya Association of Stockbrokers and Investment Banks that I represent. We have the Fund Managers Association. We have the Rates Association of Kenya, and the Association of Pension Trustees and Administrators of Kenya. Now, the reason that it is important for us to introduce ourselves, Chair, is for you to appreciate and for the committee to appreciate the locus that we have in this discussion and the proposal that we're going to put forward to you, and for you to appreciate that the people giving this proposal to you are people who are very well conversant with the different areas and the different fields that we're talking about. Again, from the very onset, Chair, we are not interested in a seat on the board. You said that everybody is asking for a seat on the board, but we would want to skip that. We will not ask for a seat on the board. So I'll also skip the right to housing. I think everybody that has been before you has quoted Article 43(1)(b). But I would like to say this, Chairman, and allow me to quote what you said as when the previous team was presenting. The country is unanimous on the need to provide affordable housing for all Kenyans. That we are all in agreement. Chair. Everybody agrees we need affordable housing. We could go into semantics and say accessible housing, affordable housing, but generally we know what we're all talking about. We need to increase the stock of affordable housing in Kenya by whichever means we do it. That we're in agreement. The only place where where we're in divergence is how shall we fund the affordable housing? We're all in agreement about the housing, but how shall we fund it? So what we have come to present to you, honorable members, and you may recall, when you gave us an opportunity last year in June, we did present something, this proposal to you. What we bring to you, honorable members, is an alternative source of funding for the provision of affordable housing in Kenya. That is our proposal to you. We believe that the challenge of affordable housing is very big, Chair. And we don't think it can be solved by a singular solution, that we say we introduce a levy and we shall have dispensed with that problem. We believe that affordable housing can only be resolved through a cocktail of solutions, and we are here to present one of those solutions to you, Chairman. What we're presenting to you is called Real Estate Investment Trusts. And this is a proposal that advocates for public-private collaboration so as to achieve affordable housing. We go to the next slide where we ask rates, what they are and how they work. Now, I don't know whether our chairman, Tom, you'd like me to proceed or you'd like to handle that? Okay. A rate, honorable members, if I can break it down, is basically owning shares in a structure. And I believe most of you are well conversant with that. The same way you own shares in Safaricom is the same way you own shares in KICC, if you're to convert KICC into a real estate investment trust. So how do we use this to create or to increase the housing stock? We get the piece of land, we get the developer. People normally think that the problem with affordable housing is sourcing the developer. That is not the problem with affordable housing. Affordable housing, the challenge is to get the off-takers of the units that you build. That is normally the challenge, not the seed capital of investing in that real estate investment, in that affordable housing program. So once the houses are built, amongst our members, we have got UPTAC. Those are people who are taking care of your pensions. We have got the fund managers. Those are people who are deciding how your funds are going to be managed, be they pension funds and so on and so forth. They will come together, and they have publicly committed to this in the past, that they will come and become the off-takers of these houses. So we built 20,000 houses in Shauri Moyo. A developer comes and puts that up. That we can assure you is not a problem. The problem is the offtake. So the fund managers and the owners of these funds come together in a real estate investment trust and offtake these units. So the developer is given back his money to go to the next project. So it becomes a cyclic project. Okay. So these funds have taken up the money. How are they making their money? They will invest, after they invest their money in the real estate investment trusts, you and I, that shall take up these houses on a rent-to-own system, all our rents put together at the end of the year is what becomes the dividend of the people who put their money into the real estate investment trust. So it becomes a win-win. It becomes a willing investor, willing homeowner. Nobody is being forced to do anything. And we shall provide, as our chairman demonstrated, a much larger amount of housing stock. he gave you the numbers. We are talking about comparing 500 billion shillings and comparing, I think, 80 or so billion shillings. 84 billion shillings. That is a huge difference. Now, that is what a real estate investment trust is. It is something that we can be able to achieve as a country as an alternative. We're not saying that we do away with the housing levy and we don't hold brief for government, but we are saying that there is an alternative solution to providing affordable housing. This is not the first time that this idea is being tabled. Last year but one, our government, under the Ministry of Investments, Industry, Trade and Investments, came up with what they were calling the Sanduku Initiative. And the Sanduku Initiative was exactly that, to use a real estate investment trust structure to provide or to increase the housing stock in the country. There is a slide there on a look at other countries. I would like to skip that. Maybe the members can have a look at it later. But basically, the slide demonstrates how other countries across the world have used real estate investment trusts to increase their housing stock. So we're not talking about something that is not tried and tested. We're not talking about something which is not proven. It has been done before. The other slide on rates and what they are and how they work, I think I've tried to explain that. So that slide with the diagram basically shows the different players in that ecosystem and how they plug in.
So sorry, this is a question that we critically asked during the finance, when you're doing the finance bill. It is also a question that Kenyans have been asking, that what are the alternative sources of finance for these affordable houses other than the housing levy? And I think if there's a point you should dwell in, is explain to us what this Sanduku Initiative is and what this real estate investment trust you're calling. So if you're not doing housing levy, how else can you finance this issue of affordable housing? Those technical terms you're talking about, could you elaborate and break them to words that we can better understand and Kenyans can better understand?
Chairman, if I may break it down, what REIT means is actually a share in a housing estate. So that if you build 1,000 units, each of those 1,000 units will attract a rent to own for 15 years. Financially, you can be able to amortize or estimate how much will that owner in that house pay in 15 years. Then you go to an investor who is a pension scheme or a bank or an insurance company or a SACCO and tell them, I will sell you these receivables, which I would have kept for 15 years, but you buy them now and you continue receiving the rent. Now that works in all jurisdictions because in financial terms, I am better off buying that and giving those dividends to my members for 15 years, and I let you who is involved in development, go and do another development because you are not in the business of keeping houses and collecting rent. Now that's what we are saying. Now it has been proved that that can become an investment option. Now to demonstrate to you where the money will come from, pension schemes as we speak have a stock of 1.6 trillion. The law allows them, this House created a law, a regulation, that they could invest in such schemes up to 30%. For the last many years, we have not utilized even 0.5% because it has not been practical. The incentives to invest in that has not been advanced. And that is one of the prayers we are putting through. Now, banks invest money in TBs, in the money market. As we speak today, because of the change in interest rates, all the bonds we bought at 10%, now trading at 20%, we can't sell. Because if we sell today, we are at a loss. But if we had invested in something with an asset behind it like this REIT, we are calling REIT, then we would not be at a loss. Because the houses appreciate by value, and the house I bought from you today, in 10 years, 15 years, will be double. So I'm better off holding that as an investment. Now, that is the option we are advancing. The money is available from the pension schemes, the money is available from banks, the money is available from insurance companies, the money is available from SACCOs. The issue which we have to deal with is trust. Because the property ecosystem has suffered trust deficit. As Kenyans, we only believe when we see the house. We don't want to pay and imagine you will construct. But if you deliver those houses, we'll be flocking there to buy them because we can see it. So what we are requesting, Chairman, in your committee, is we make those houses available, and we will be spoiled for demand. Even in Narok, there are teachers, there are nurses who will buy those houses. And if those houses are available, teachers and nurses and civil servants are willing to commit on a rent-to-own basis for 15 years. An investor like me, I'll buy those rentals for 15 years today as an investment, and I exit you, a developer, to go and develop in Kakamega. Now, that is the ecosystem, Chairman, we are requesting your committee and this House to facilitate that the private sector helps government to intervene in this solution. It is doable. We only need to create trust. And since we have already created a stock of funds,
somewhere.
Yes. So let me see if I got it right, and then the gentleman next to you will clarify. So we say that the private sector, if you build these houses that meets this criteria to build something else, and then once the government takes them, then they can give them to the civil servants and to all those people that want them. And now so the government is not in the business of supervising the constructions and of doing the constructions. So the private sector gets the one in the business of constructing houses, of taking them to government, and because now the customers of these houses are Kenyans and they know the government already has houses, now government sells them to Kenya. Is that what you mean? Okay, now we're on the same page. That took a minute.
And do a development rate. And then we have an income rate. You talked about national housing. They already have maybe some assets that are already there. That too can be converted into a REIT. And then we also have an Islamic REIT, even for financial inclusion. So under the D REIT and I REIT, we have the ACON, affordable student accommodation. So most of the universities are actually being funded by a REIT. So it is already there in most of the universities. So it is that similar structure that we want to bring to market. And then also my colleague here, what he didn't also disclose, he's also the CEO of Liaison. So they have also done some Asukuk for military houses. So it is something that is already being proven, and we believe that this structure will be able to do financing. In a nutshell, the capital markets exist so that we can be able to mobilize long-term financing for development. So instead of penalizing all Kenyans, in the spirit of our motto, Harambe, we are saying let us all pull together, both the national government and also private sector, through a solution that is already existing that is tried and proven. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Allow me to just add one more point to what my two colleagues have said. And I'm looking at the slide where it is written who can invest in REITs. And we are talking about, there's that diagram. We're talking about developers, pension funds, financial institutions, insurance companies, blah, 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 and even individuals. I think what I would like to emphasize here, Honorable Chair, is that Tom has given a very good example in which the government can actually invest, but the investment is very broad. Chairman, the way today in Safaricom, you might own 500,000 shares, somebody else owns 50,000 shares, I own 500 shares. That is exactly how a REIT is structured. So no one is listening to the people that have made presentations to this committee before. There is the issue of people feeling coerced to contribute or to remove their money. This is voluntary investment. Even for government, it is voluntary investment. Nobody is being boxed to a corner. You can invest any amount, just the same way you will invest when you're buying shares. Earlier, when the previous presenters, Chair, you asked about people at the bottom of the pyramid. Yes, people at the bottom of the pyramid can be able to invest in this asset or this security, because for all intents and purposes, it's a security, and be able to earn a dividend from investing in the provision of housing for the Republic of Kenya. I'm going to jump, in the interest of time, I'm going to jump what we have written as our story. Chair, we are unable to execute rates projects in Kenya today because the tax burden is out of reach. It's unaffordable. We simply cannot be able to execute rates because of the taxes imposed. And I would like to go straight to my asks, or to our asks. Our ask number 1 is insert new clause 13(2)(j) to state, identify such other potential sources of housing units that can be incorporated into the affordable housing program, provided that these units do not require any allocation of funds under Section 11. So here what you're trying to say, Chairman, is that the bill in its current form does not have room for private sector to bring in stock of houses to be part of the program. And with that, we shall have cured that problem. Our ask number 2 is insert new clause 42(2)(g) to state the manner and form by which real estate investment trusts may develop affordable housing units under the affordable housing program. What we're trying to clear there, Chairman, is that the bill in its current form does not recognize real estate investment trusts as a viable avenue through which affordable housing schemes can be implemented. So we can come up with very beautiful projects as private sector. We can come up with 10,000 units, 50,000 units housing schemes. But if the law does not create a mechanism through which we can be incorporated, then it would be a waste of time. Finally, is insert clause 4(2) to state the management of the fund is established under Section 8 to allow private sector participation of institutions licensed by Capital Markets Authority.
I think on that point, Chairman, probably just to add the perspective from Fund Managers Association is that the request is to allow private sector to participate. I think we already have precedents on this. I think I'll point you to the precedents where, for example, NSSF, created by an act of parliament with a huge portfolio, huge fund, they do subcontract. While the board is responsible for policy and the management for administration, they have subcontracted aspects of their investments to private sector. So private sector can come in and play a very huge role. I think another precedent is on the PSSS, the Public Service Superannuation Scheme. Yes, they have their core mandate. They're able to then subcontract private sector to help manage the funds. I think the benefits of this are clear. One is that it improves governance around the management of those funds. Secondly, it creates public confidence so that, yes, there is accountability across how those funds are managed. But I think also more importantly is that it optimizes the return. So yes, there is already a return in terms of selling the houses, the interest rate charged, but for the surplus funds that are held by through this levy, then those can be outsourced in terms of management to the private sector. And again, what we are saying here is that it's just not anybody in the private sector. Our suggestion is that there is a Capital Markets Authority which regulates and licenses particular players within this space to help manage the surplus monies. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Again, in the interest of time, allow me, Chair, to just quickly sift through. So our asks are divided into 2, Chairman. The first is amendments to the bill, the Affordable Housing Bill, and the second is amendments to the tax laws, which is what we're coming to seek from this House. We have laid a foundation, Chair, and I would like to just thank this committee on drafting and passing the national tax policy that was late last year. And in the tax policy, we were able to get a window through which we can be able to have tax exemption for real estate investment trusts through tax neutrality. So our 2 asks is, number 1, stamp duty. That is Section 96A(4). Exemption for instruments to which paragraph 1B applies shall only have effect in respect of instruments executed before 31st December. That is what the law reads. So what is our proposal? We propose to delete that clause. What is our justification? The exemption actually existed but with a limited time frame that did not provide for sufficient time for the benefits of the exemption to be realized. The proposed removal of the time limitation shall enable us advance our rates. So it was there before, Chairman, only that it was given a very short shelf life that we were never quite able to benefit. Our second request, Chairman, is an amendment to the 8th schedule. This is with regards to capital gains tax. So we propose the addition of a new clause 3.4 with the following paragraph. The gain accruing on any transfer of property in any real estate investment trust regulated by CMA. Our justification is the proposed addition shall enable us exempt real estate investment trusts from capital gains tax. Chairman, our reasoning is very simple. If we're going to get into transactions where we're getting a developer to create stock of houses, then for those houses to be offloaded to investors, you're still imposing upon him or her a capital gains tax. How will they ever be able to build houses and dispose them? So it appears like we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We are trying to create a stock of houses, then saying that let us tax whoever is providing the stock of houses. Private sector, Chair, and I can sincerely tell you this, is interested in playing in this space and providing affordable houses. We're not asking for any special treatment. All we are saying, these taxes that just make the delivery of the houses even more difficult, can we do away with them? And we're just talking basically of about 2 taxes, and we shall be good. Finally, Chair, our last slide. Our proposal is not divergent from our national aspirations. I think, as we said earlier, everybody believes that and agrees that we should have affordable housing. Our proposal to use real estate investment trusts aligns with this. We also seek the favor of this House. Our prayers, Chair, is that should you accept or should your committee accept our proposals, our request would be that we are the urgency of time. How soon would we be able to execute this for us to be able to play our part in increasing the housing stock? Finally, Chair, I just need to emphasize, we are not mango growers trying to sell bananas. The team of people you see here, that is the Kenya National Rates, the Nairobi Securities Exchange, the stockbrokers, the fund managers, the real estate investment trusts, and the Association of Pension Trustees and Administrators of Kenya. The ecosystem that we have within this team can be able to deliver the affordable housing end to end. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. That was quite a new thinking and a new kind of presentation. Are there questions from honourable members?
Chairman, if you allow me just to make one small clarification.
Proceed.
The guidelines and affordable housing as they stand do exempt stamp duty to the first house owner. Your first time to own an affordable house, you are exempted from stamp duty. But a REIT is a body corporate. So we are saying that that should be extended to include the REIT itself. Because remember, the REIT will be off-taking in bulk. So I just wanted to make that clarification so that we don't assume that is already provided for.
But are you sure that that the first ownership of affordable houses is exempt from excess duty? Which law? Or from sub duty?
Stamp duty, Chairman.
From sub duty.
Yes.
Did we pass that yet?
That's what, unless that has been also.
We will
lifted.
find out, because unless it was done before last year, in the 1 year that we have been on this committee, I don't remember, but no. No. So those are good proposals. However, we have one limitation on this bill. This bill does not amend the Excise Duty Act, and therefore we cannot introduce an amendment to the Excise Duty Act at this stage. But we'll soon be processing the finance bill of 2024. So that would be a good time to sensitize this committee again on that. But it's a very brilliant idea, so that we take out use of public funds, and this becomes like the kickstart to the project. It builds trust in the market. It provides the funds, and then it is taken over by the existing ecosystem of the fund managers, of the circles, and the REITs. And I was thinking this will even be a big boost to Nairobi Securities Exchange, that we haven't been seeing a lot of activities lately. All right, kuna swali? Honorable Vice Chair.
Sorry, Chair, I got late. My name is Benjamin Langat, MB in Amoy and Vice Chair. Now, I have listened to your proposal, especially in terms of fixing yourself in the sharing of the fund. You have created a space somewhere for the private sector, where you are saying up to, I think, 66%. And I heard the chair earlier on asking, what are the alternative sources of funds? I didn't hear you where we are leaving people. You didn't get a space there. How would you propose that we get? I think that question did not come out clearly. How do you propose other sources of funding to this housing, other than what we are proposing in the bill? Because we seem to be targeting the amount collected, but we don't want to increase the cake. So I didn't quite hear how you propose to get additional funds as experts of the money market and the capital markets.
Any of you can respond to the question? Honorable Paul, Honorable Paul has a question too.
No, maybe I just appreciate the presenters, because you really presented so well, and you've given us a different angle, different school of thought, and you really executed it well. But my take would be that I know government is not a very good businessman and business partner, but now that we are going to have, we are retreating to go and discuss about this issue, I think it is important for us as the committee members to actually try and see how to incorporate your thinkings. But actually I've liked the idea, because you really come out very strongly, and you have proved that you have done others similar to this, and they have worked. But all said and done, it was a good presentation in my take. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Please respond briefly.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Members. I think the question was really on how are we going to make the pie to grow. And from the Nairobi Securities Exchange, we currently have 1.6 trillion trading in shares, and 4.6 trillion where we are also doing the government stock. We are looking at this real estate investment trust actually being able to surpass even that 1.6 trillion of the equity, the shares. So we are a public market. So even partnering with government, the 4.6 trillion that we've been able to help create a secondary market for is actually for government stock. So I believe we would be, and we represent the face that would be there to help government and partner with government to raise these funds. We also have within our membership APTAC, which is the pension funds. Pension funds have 2 trillion. From 1.5 to around 2 trillion currently. So from the pensions that people have, then we can use that capital efficiently to be able to make this dream of affordable housing to come to pass. So like we also mentioned, we're already doing it. We have Kwetu. Maybe you've seen buses going around. That's a REIT. That's already a REIT that is already operational. We have Kejani. So I believe we should be able to make this a reality, and hence, like CEO Willie has mentioned, we want to be able to move with speed, and if we can get those amendments and consideration within the bill, then this would be a step in the right side. Thank you.
Then, Chair, I don't know if you can grant me to just ask a question to the committee.
Go ahead, proceed.
Yes, due to the urgency of the matter in terms of us really wanting to get this real estate investment, because we're running out of time. We have told our Kenyan citizens that we shall provide affordable housing, and there's a lot of push back and push. So you have said that that this committee may not be able to bring in amendments to the Stamp Duty Act. So is that to say that we would have to wait until the finance bill for us to be able to pass our real estate investment trust through?
Yes, and our Director of Legal Services, what is the position? What is it through the legal language?
Sorry, Chair. I was absent-minded. I was responding to something from my boss. Maybe if he asks again, I'm sorry.
Through the chair.
I was asking if it's possible to amend the Excise Duty Act through this affordable housing bill.
No.
Yes. So it confirmed my communication that you cannot amend the excise duty. So exempting the transfer of real estate and exempting that from stamp duty would mean doing an amendment to the Stamp Duty Act. And since this affordable housing bill has not amended, does not have any clause that amends the Stamp Duty Act, and therefore introducing an amendment to the Stamp Duty Act in the process of this bill now will be unprocedural, and it will be thrown out of the courts in the morning. So we can't do it here, but we can do it in the finance bill. Yeah.
But I think, Chair, the next finance bill is only maybe 5 months, 5 months to go, 6 months to go. Yeah, so I think by the time we are reaching July, and I think will just be the right time. It will be the right time. Yeah.
Much obliged.
Yeah. And remember, even by the time, so we retreat tomorrow for the report, then we take it through second reading, third reading, it is sent to the President, a board to be created. So you're better off even with the Finance Act than even if it were possible to do it here. Asante sana, I think we've had such an amazing conversation. We have made more progress than we were last year when you're talking about these affordable houses. And the debate is live, the debate is real. We are having all ranging views, and at the end of the day, we're going to make way and we're going to get somewhere. So asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Chairman. On behalf of everybody, we express our very, very sincere gratitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And again, our condolences to the Chair, and the commitment that you have to this lawmaking process is really commendable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chairman.
Technical University of Kenya. Next. And then Oxygen Marketers and Communications Limited. Then Kenya Export Floriculture and Horticultural Union. And we finish the day with KEPSA. So you had introduced yourself, so please, you have had the opportunity to listen through, so take us to what you think has not been mentioned.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Chair, Honorable Members, and other stakeholders. Chair, once again, let me introduce myself. My name is Professor Dr. Engineer Benedict Tutua, the Vice Chancellor, Technical University of Kenya. I'm together with our legal officer, Madam Ruth Kirwa. Chair, I'm not standing on behalf of other universities, and Chair, I noted through these submissions, I think that was an omission that we didn't invite universities. I think they would have played a key role in terms of executing this very important bill that is affecting our country. However, Chair, as a technical university,
let me correct you. We actually did invite universities. We received submissions from Kisii University. We received submissions from Egerton University. We received submissions from Moi University. We actually received submissions from Aseno University. So we actually did receive submissions from universities.
Chair, it was on a, sorry, I'm corrected. It was on a point of, we have the chairs of the universities where we normally have presentations collectively. However, Chair, I'm directed. I would want to be very brief, Chair, in terms of contribution towards this bill as a university. One, Chair, we play a very key role in terms of this particular bill as Technical University of Kenya. And Chair, as you are aware, I will not go through the submission that I presented to you. Historically, most of the members know where these investors come from as a technical college all through to the status where it is. But the focus of today's Chair is the challenge that is there on affordable housing. And as a university chair, we are looking at it from universities that are based in the cities, such as this particular university, in terms of affordable housing, and more so focusing on very important people, the students. Chair, I think the morning we've gone through accessibility and affordability. And I think it's something that over the years, Chair, that has been assumed that these students who come to the universities can afford where they stay. Chair, I'm taking an example of a student who is coming all the way down coast and coming to Nairobi. And in our case, Chair, we don't have accommodation for these students. We have a total of about 403 for both young men and young ladies. We have this young girl who has come all the way from coast, landing to the city, and this person is supposed to look for a house. Chair, the kind of places where these students are staying is deplorable in terms of sanitation, in terms of security, in terms of accessibility. And Chair, we want to thank the government because when our President, His Excellency, visited the university in 2022, on 8th in particular, December, we pointed out the challenge that we have in terms of housing. And it was through their Chair when we were directed as a university to be part of the program of affordable housing. And that's why we are here today, Chair, to say apart from the submissions that are given on the challenges of the bill, as a university first, we support this because we are part of this journey. However, Chair, the issue that has come over the time as the university is it was not very clear why the bill only particularly pointed to some class of people in terms of those who are going to benefit from the housing. That is, for example, myself, I do contribute honestly, but I'm not entitled to own a house. So the members have been feeling at the university, most of the professors, they are contributing to the bill and they are supporting it. However, they are saying the way it is formatted or the way it is articulated, it also brings the idea of some bit of discrimination to the extent that they are supporting, but they are not beneficial at the end of the day. Number two, there was a proposal that we do a capping of the amount that we contribute. Even if it says 1.5% is of the basic, but up to a certain capping, I think that members will be a bit comfortable. Chair, coming to the last point, because we are not going to spend a lot of time, why we came today is one, to say we are supporting the bill, of course, with the amendments that are proposed. Then number two, we request as we address the issue of affordable housing, let's not just look at the common mwananchi. in terms of owning our house, but can we also focus on these young men and women who are in the universities who require these houses, either through rental? In fact, that can be an aspect where they can rent this housing at an affordable fee. I think that's a prayer chair that we have as a university, the technical university, that as we go through the process, if we are coming up with the houses, can we put houses that are affordable to this particular generation? Chair, the amount of rent these students pay per month, in fact, is more than the fee they pay per semester. And remember, Our Excellency has come up with a new funding mode so that students can access university education. But we are finding that they are missing to access because of housing. A very simple, basic requirement, and that's why we are presenting to this committee our prayer that as we move along, as we do the amendment of the bill, can we put in a place that as we build this affordable housing, we consider this particular group of students. And as a technical university, we can also bring on board the innovation to have houses that can be constructed at a lower cost, and that's why His Excellency the President directed the university to be part of the team that is on the AHP, that is on the Affordable Housing Program. And I think as a university chair, we are ready to contribute to that once this bill comes to fruition, and I think it's coming to fruition. And finally, as a technical university chair, we are not opposing the bill, but what we are saying is we are looking at the benefits, challenges notwithstanding, that we can draw from this particular bill when it comes to implementation. Otherwise, Chair, because the document is there with the committee, we didn't want to spend a lot of time at the university, just go to the point. Our point was we support with amendments, but we request that as we do this, let's put a place where universities, especially in the cities, we can have particular units that are designed for students. At our university, we have learned what we are looking for is the support either from the government or through the PPP to have the hostels constructed for the student. And Chair, I submit my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. VC. And the same sentiments were said by your other Vice Chancellors. You are speaking to close, where is it? Close page 2117 of the bill that talks about institutional housing, clause 11C. That's 30% of the monies be allocated to the State Department as well for matters related to affordable housing for development, maintenance, rehabilitation, and offtake of institutional housing programs. So I think what we are saying is this institutional housing program is specific to our universities, colleges, and polytechnics. Some of us, when we went to university, which is not so many years ago, hostels at KU was 2,700 for a whole semester. So that was like 900 shillings a month. So everyone could afford to stay there. And it was easy to commute from the mess to the hostel and to class. But now, and to go to it in KM. But now, with the current prices of houses, that's why you find students have to live very far off campus, and mostly in places that are very dilapidated. And that has also even caused the recent cases of assault and burglary to university students. So I think it's very important now that you're talking about an affordable housing, we host our next labor force well, so that we sustain them to make sure that they complete their school and get to contribute to the welfare and development of our country. Thank you very much, Tuk. Oxygen Marketers and Communications Limited. Yes?
I could just add something
Sure.
small. With respect to the definition part of the bill, probably it could also be expanded, Section 2, to include definitions of student accommodation and university setting, housings, and all that for maybe members of staff, especially where we need staff to be housed within the
university section. That was one. Maybe also to highlight the fact that our students, especially in the cities, end up finding themselves in deplorable housing. I think we have highlighted this in the Vice Chancellor's presentation, page 2, the penultimate paragraph, where we are just showing where some of the students actually live as a result of them not being able to afford. As the Honorable Chair has indicated, that he used to pay a little money at KU, but right now, for the same amount, you find yourself actually living in a very pathetic situation. So being a public entity, that is the reason why our Vice Chancellor has been able to tender his submission that we use the laid out procedure within the bill to be able to have the government be able to provide the necessary funding and support to the university sector. So I submit. Thank you. Thank you for giving me.
Yeah, thank you. You're very spot on, even with the definition. What is the current deficit for our student accommodation? What you have versus what you need?
Thank you, Chair. In fact, we have a population of 15,000 students, and we can only afford 430 students accommodation.
So you have 15,000 students,
yes,
vis-a-vis 423 hostels.
No, only 423 students can get accommodation.
423.
Yes.
So less than 20.
So we have, Chair, we have almost
1%, like 3%.
It's even
okay,
less.
3%. Less than 3% of your students actually live in campus.
Yes.
Okay.
And Chair, you know, the Kenya Polytechnic was built is a different university because the time it was offering certificates and diplomas, it was saying that most of these people were day scholars. They were employees from the government, so they never went to the building of the hostels like other universities. And the population has grown, yes. Yeah.
So, it's actually 2.864%. All right, thank you very much. Regards to the Fraternity of Technical University of Kenya. I thought you'd mention that you'll be beneficiary of this program because your students will get internships there, but it's all right. We've had it from your colleagues. All right, now you have the Kenya's Export Floriculture, Horticulture and Allied Workers Union. Oh, sorry, it's Oxygen, sorry. Oxygen, Oxygen. So introduce yourself and the team.
Good afternoon, Chair. My name is Ando from Oxygen Marketing and Communications Limited. I'm from the Legal and Policy team, and we normally interrogate matters of national interest, hence our submission. I have had your instructions that we should keep this short and not make references to other submissions that have been made. So I'll try and collate all my submissions.
I said introduce yourself and the team. I think you should say you are the one on the team.
Okay.
You're all the team we get today.
Yes, I am all the team we get today. So our main contention with the bill is actually, I think, something that has probably been mentioned, that we feel that the Affordable Housing Board, creating one, is a duplication of roles, and that the fund that is being suggested in clause number 2 should be managed by the existing National and Housing Corporation. And the reason that we feel this way is because we feel that the National Housing Corporation already has quite a number of, it already has a product that it can deploy to the market and has already deployed to the market. And therefore, the idea should be to strengthen the